Welcome back to the Uplink, the only place on the internet where you can find out about all the latest gaming news across the gaming industry. I am your host, Andrew Hamilton, joined by my co-host,
Andrew Hamilton.
There's two of us now. Deal with it. Gordon Ogletree.
Yeah.
Think.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
To me, because I've actually been gone.
Yeah, actually, you're the one who's been gone. Yeah. I thought that was for me.
Welcome back to the show.
It's nice.
For both of us.
It's nice to be seen sometimes. It's fine. It's whatever.
Welcome back to the audience. Dozens of you.
We have missed a couple weeks. We were very busy. A lot of stuff going on. For those of you who were able to make it out, I was busy last week this past weekend, anyways, at Comic-Con, at Bell County Comic-Con. If you were able to make it out, thank you so much. Happy to have you there. Loved seeing all of you there. Come by the booth and talk with us. Thank you to everyone who entered our competitions, and hope you're enjoying your statues. We hope to be there again next year. Overall, pretty good experience. A lot of fun panels I got to host and talk with some cool people, and it's a good time. So thank you for coming out.
There was a Chuck Norris, apparently.
Yeah, there was a Chuck Norris briefly. I saw him, and then he was gone in a cloud of smoke. And
thus is the legend of Chuck Norris.
Three to four sheriff posse members.
Let's talk about video games and such.
But yeah, let's talk about video games. We've got a lot to cover. We're going to get a little off topic to start with, off of the video game stuff. So let's not talk about video games quite yet, but it's video game
related.
Yeah. So there's a lot of strikes going on, you guys. I don't know if you noticed. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of people who are kind of fed up with the current working conditions and
lack of pay.
Yeah, and lack of pay and representation and being exploited. All that stuff people whine about.
Potentially being replaced in the future.
And sometimes by robots. It's all bad stuff mostly.
Yeah.
Entirely. Let's be honest. A lot of strikes going on. So naturally, we've got the writer strike. We've got the Screen Actors strike encompassing all the Broadway actors and television actors, movie actors, what have you. And now there's a new union that wants to enter the fray, and maybe the most important one to Hollywood at the moment in terms of what they consider to be important, and that's the VFX artists.
Which isn't quite a union. They have filed to become
a union. Now, they're going to do everything in their power to stop that from happening. Specifically, the filing comes from Marvel's VFX teams, who have notoriously over the last year been reported on being mishandled, underpaid, severely overworked, and now people blame bad CGI for why the MCU is in the state that it is. Constant turnaround times that are insane. Reshoots have really fractured that community and burned out a lot of talented artists. So this isn't surprising at all. I expected this to happen eventually, and seeing the power of strikes out there, being able to put the word into the communities to be able to say, hey, look, this is how things really are behind the scenes. And this is what we're asking for, and they're just not meeting those expectations anymore.
Yeah, Marvel came under fire for this. I mean, look, it's been bad. It is tough to be the CGI is bad guy on several shows that I'm on, but I'm like, because look, this CGI that we're getting now compared to where we were even 10 years ago.
5 years ago even.
Yeah, is like really good, but it hasn't really advanced. It really has stalled.
Yeah.
And then since we've been seeing it in every project that has ever come on now on movie theaters, haven't seen any advancement with it. And it's like, and to be quite frank, The Flash and some other movies, we've seen regression.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want to see. So the advancement of it, like Avatar, The Way of Water, is we saw that together.
Yeah.
It's like breaking ground.
Insane.
But they literally worked on that for a decade. So,
yeah, and created technology specifically for what he was trying to accomplish. And I think that's we talked a little bit about it yesterday. That's kind of what's the driving force here is we used to have these studios, these in-house studios that would make these fantastic things, and they were normally made primarily by that studio with the assistance of maybe one or two studios. But now if you look at the VFX teams that make up any Marvel movie, just pick one, you're going to see 18 plus teams that worked on various, maybe they were a small studio that worked on literally one shot, but it's spread super thin.
Well, yeah, because of COVID and some other stuff, there's literally only, I'm gonna get this number wrong, there's only a set number of like houses, VFX houses, like in the single digits, actually, that like then contract out to other people, but like a majority of those houses are taken up by superhero films. Look, it is us superhero enjoyers, but like then so stuff that has lesser budget, time, so on and so forth, sort of mid-tier franchises, when stuff looks bad in that, it's because they didn't have that much time to work on it because they were working on the other stuff. And even then, call it what it is, Ant-Man, it's like, oh, we had to reshoot all this, go just pump it out there.
Yeah.
And they need time to do this. Since then, there was a backlash. It's like the vice president of Marvel, she was fired for this. She was kind of ahead of all of the visual effects for all of these movies.
Yeah.
She was fired or quit, but got a huge severance.
Allowed to step down.
Yeah, she'd been there since the first Iron Man. So they're kind of like reshuffling how this goes. They're moving projects, and actually nothing's being made right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Like moving projects, canceling some things, moving things back to quote unquote give these people more time. There's still the same exact number of projects that are on the board.
They've just spread them out more, which is
VFX. And after some of the stuff that even we saw, and this is animation, but after some of the stuff that we saw with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where they were like, yeah, we were working 7 days a week on this movie.
One person said they didn't see their family for close to 3 months because they were working that many hours.
It was only a matter of time before they did this. Now, where this fills into video games, that's probably that has to be down the road.
Yeah. So video game
two sides
unions,
of the same coin.
Video game unions have already started to form, and we've talked about them here on the show, several dozen times at this point. But there's a side of video games that are affected by VFX artists. There's many people who do VFX art that also go into CGI trailers. They go into the cutscenes in video games. A lot of stuff is using real-time rendering, but the VFX that make up those things are still having to be created by artists. I wouldn't be surprised if this does extend into video games eventually. And then motion capture is a whole other thing. But I think the best example of what this kind of the effects that all of this crunch time on and insane turnarounds on these VFX has been is, you guys remember the Sonic movie?
Yeah.
You remember Human Teeth Sonic?
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Meow. You guys, I'm sure you remember, he's in your nightmares. He's behind you right now.
Funny bit from the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that I don't think a lot of people saw.
Solid movie.
Yeah, they brought back Ugly Sonic. Go check it out. Yeah, it's very funny.
Surprised that was allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
But love that they leaned into it. Sonic is the Sega and Sonic have always been very tongue-in-cheek about their fan base and stuff, and I'm not surprised that they leaned into it, but I understand why. So the studio that did the redesign for Sonic that saved that movie and allowed it to not only be successful, one of the most successful video game movies of all time, but also receive a sequel, a spin-off series now that's in development at Paramount Plus, and then a third movie that's in development.
And James Marsden to be on that jury show.
Yeah, and James Marsden to be a name that you might recognize again.
Yeah.
They went bankrupt.
Did they really?
Yes.
I'd never heard that news.
After they finished the VFX, it cost them so much to do the turnaround time to get the movie out at the same release date and stuff that it put them out of business. That was the cost of the internet throwing a fit about Sonic the Hedgehog's human teeth, which justifiable. I still kind of wish we'd gotten Ugly Sonic. Personally, I think you guys ruined it a little bit. Because my favorite thing about Sonic is that it's a broken series that doesn't work 90% of the times. And the people who are just adamant that it's the best franchise ever are broken.
Give us the Ugly Sonic cut.
Yeah. Hashtag Ugly Sonic cut. Let's get it trending.
Exactly.
Release the ugly. Actually, just release Ugly Sonic. Free Ugly Sonic.
Free Ugly Sonic. Nobody cares.
They've got
the Snyder cut or the Ayer cut.
They've got them locked
up. The
up.
Ugly Sonic cut.
They got them locked up at the Sega headquarters. But yeah, so that happened, and these kinds of things happen all the time. VFX studios go in, support studios for video games go in heavy on these big projects, and as a result, sometimes just go bankrupt because they had to overextend to meet the deadline, and that's how little that these major studios were willing to pay the people that saved their franchise. I can't stress that enough. That movie would not be successful without these people's redesign. Insane.
For better or for worse, and in some, like in a lot of cases, better. Like we're not, like Tom Cruise doesn't actually have to jump out of an airplane. Now we love it when he does it.
Yeah.
But like,
I do think he's compelled to do it.
Yeah,
by some kind
now
of exterior force that he doesn't
we can't
know how to explain.
see. But like, for better or for worse, like visual effects makes things safer for actors and actresses and filmmakers. Like you're not having like live bears run on the set anymore, which is what they used to do. Bart the Bear, look it up.
Yeah.
But like, you're also allowing things to be rendered that you would have never seen.
Yeah.
Your mind's eye couldn't recreate. Like Thanos is a thing that we all know and love. Not a real person. I don't know if you know that.
And then you cut down on the transformation sequences by making everything nanotech.
Yeah, right. I will say that, like, I think we just reached a critical mass with all of it.
Yeah.
And
it was too much too fast.
You've even seen it in video games where it's like, we're working these people so hard to what end just to throw out broken games.
Yeah.
And now it translated into movies. They've always been doing that with video games, but now it kind of translated into movies to where the studios that we once held to such high regard that sort of redefined what we knew about the visual effects space are now pumping out broken movies.
Yeah.
And I think people are more attuned to having a broken game. When it comes to a broken movie that millions of people are like, ew, I don't like it.
And hearing that things get patched, which is hilarious to me that there's movie patches, like the butthole patch, famous butthole patch. Everyone know about that? The first cut of Cats that was released in theaters
right.
Had all the cats having buttholes. So people didn't like that on the opening night screening, so they released, they put out a 60 gigabyte patch or whatever that they had to download for each individual digital version of the movie.
I mean, we're going long on this, but we've been talking about it. There are like 18 different versions of the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Well, yeah, and part of that was intentional, but part of that wasn't, because the first version of the movie that released had messed up audio. Then they fixed that, but then there's versions that have slightly different scenes and dialogue. Mm-hmm. And those were intentionally put out, but now which version do you send to the home release?
Exactly. So a completely different one, apparently. But and we're going long on
let's
this.
move on to our next subject.
Our whole point is that inevitably major strikes will eventually probably come to...
It's a lot of crossover.
To video game studio houses and things like that.
And we will bring it to you as soon as it does. That's what we're here for.
Just say, we told you here first is what we're saying.
We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll tell you next time we hear something about it. Speaking of things that I've heard much about, Modern Warfare 3 was never really a secret. They basically all but confirmed it last year whenever they were like, yeah, there'll be a new premium title from Infinity Ward. And everyone's like...
So the third one of these games.
So you mean Modern Warfare 3? They're like, nah, like a premium title. And we're like, yeah, you can just say it's Modern Warfare 3. And it is. Right. It is. Congratulations, everyone. You were right.
You did.
Modern Warfare 3 is coming November 10th.
You did it.
I have questions that don't have answers yet. And those questions involve, and why? And now? But also, how? Because in probably the weirdest twist to this ongoing Call of Duty saga that's running into 15 years now, I think. For the first time ever, a Call of Duty game will have carry forward mechanics. Now, to put it in Call of Duty's terms, what that means is certain cosmetics earned, certain equipment earned, that being blueprints, operators, weapon attachments, and cosmetic items will carry forward to Modern Warfare 3 from Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone. Which brings up some questions, right? So we know that the arsenal will probably be very similar. Which means that the gameplay will probably be even more similar than we've had in previous years, because that means that they're not expecting drastic changes to the gunplay. If you look at Modern Warfare 1 versus Modern Warfare 2 of these, new versions of those games, the gunplay is a little different.
Yeah.
Each game has had the recoil structure was completely redone for Modern Warfare 2. The way that sliding and moving worked was changed and climbing worked was changed for Modern Warfare 2. Normally, what's sold to you on these multiplayer games is the new features. You kind of go back and look at the history of Call of Duty multiplayer reveal trailers, and you see Black Ops 1. It's the Swan Dive, and Black Ops 2, it's the ability to slide or whatever. It's the RC cars. It's the ability to climb up and hang off the side of a thing and pull out your pistol and shoot someone in Modern Warfare 2, which I hardly ever do and hardly ever did. Remember when everyone thought that was going to be game changing, and it's not. But it's the completely blacked out screen sights that Call of Duty Ghosts introduced that allow you to look down a scope and still be able to see your peripheral vision. It's subtle things like that. Those subtle mechanical differences are what make the Call of Duty games different, and have always been my defense point for whenever someone's like, every Call of Duty game is the same. Because I'll be honest with you guys.
Every Call of Duty game is the same.
Can I be real with you? I think they might all be the same game. I think they've been selling us the same game for 15 years. But at least they were trying to disguise it before. Now, that being said, Call of Duty's from developer to developer did differ. Black Ops plays very different from Call of Duty.
Yeah, but
Modern
you're
Warfare.
burying the whole lead here is that we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We got a cinematic trailer. They did an Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So we have a loose idea here. They did tell us about the carryover mechanics, but the fact that those carryover mechanics exist, that it's bringing this stuff forward from Modern Warfare 2, tells me that the main thing that they're selling here is going to be the story mode. And I want you all at home to let me know in the comments section if this game costs $70, is a story mode that statistically about only 20% of you played to the end, is it worth the money? Keep in mind, most of the gunplay and maps and multiplayer stuff will probably be exactly the same.
Well, at least, yeah, until they released a new Warzone thing, which is what everybody plays.
Warzone 2.0 that we're on now is expected to be the consistent Warzone for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah, if I don't get a code for this game, I'm not.
And Activision sent us a code. Maybe we'll cover it.
I enjoyed most of the story for the last one. It was, America Bad sort of thing.
It really wanted to do the original twist, but modern, and it just failed.
But as soon as I was having to sprint around that hotel with no weapons, I quit.
Yeah. Hey, don't put me in a shooter game where I'm on a CCTV camera and telling someone to do the game, and don't put me in a hotel with no weapons.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's when I stopped. Anyway.
Right before the end. But yeah, so we'll have more on that as we find out. There'll be another reveal next week where they're going to talk about stuff, and then we'll find out probably more about multiplayer in September. But November 10th, Makarov is back. We'll see what that means. He's not been an important character so far. I don't know why we would care about him now, but we'll find out.
Wait, that wasn't No Russian Guy?
Yeah, it is No Russian Guy.
It is No Russian Guy?
But and we may have caught a glimpse of a No Russian style mission. Boy, is that going to be interesting.
Is that a bad idea?
It's going to be a bad idea, but arguably the worst idea would be to act like you didn't do it the first time. So let's see, That's part of what made him such a terrifying villain, and then also made your character kind of like, depending on how you played that mission, because you have the option to not hit
being an 11-year-old and just selecting, I'll play this when you knew what it was.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a weird
We're
feeling.
all psychotic on the inside, but we'll see is the main point. And speaking of games that are maybe going to be a ripoff, coming later next week, we got Red Dead Redemption news, guys. Are you excited? Don't be. It's a port. And it's to the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch in 2023. 13 years after the 2010 game's release.
They've been trying to phase out the Switch and the PS4 for like 5 years now. Like,
Yeah,
it hasn't been that long.
3.
But yeah, again, why?
Yeah, I don't. So, look, people have been begging for a Red Dead Redemption remaster so you can play Red Dead Redemption 1 after you play Red Dead Redemption 2, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel.
Yeah.
Because numbers are nonsense.
It is me, person that would like to play this.
Yeah, I would love to have a remake.
On a PS5.
Would have loved a full remake built in the engine they used for Red Dead Redemption 2. Nope, not what we're getting. We're getting a port with no notable enhancements at all. It's a direct port. Hey, it includes Undead Nightmare. So that's a bonus, I guess. Nintendo players
for the Red Dead Redemption 2, but that's another.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing. Nintendo players should be happy about this because Nintendo did not get Red Dead at all.
Make your Switch explode.
No, not really. If you look at the file size that Red Dead, you can right now you can access Red Dead Redemption, the first one, through Xbox through backwards compatibility, and because of the way the Xbox Series X and Xbox One X work, it will automatically upscale the textures and render them out in 4K. So you already got a better version, and it'll play at 60 FPS. Already a better version than the original. But the file size is like 833 megabits.
Oh, well, never mind.
So it's like nothing.
Remember when we used to be a proper country?
Yeah. back in the day.
Yeah.
So it'll fit on a cartridge, honestly. Instead of having to be one of those games that you put on half on a cartridge and then you got to go download the rest whenever you get the game.
Red Dead 2 is on the Switch, right?
No.
It isn't?
No, Red Dead 2 could not fit on the Switch.
Okay.
Because that's a more recent game. Because like I said, Red Dead 1 came out in 2010. Now, Rockstar, in all their esteemed glory, makers of wonderful games. Bully, which they've thrown away. Grand Theft Auto, which they are working on. And Red Dead Redemption, which they wasted the opportunity to continue making good stuff for it because they basically abandoned the online thing about 2 months after it came out. Fun shenanigans to be had there. But, in all their esteemed glory, decided the proper price point for this port of a 13-year-old game to last generation consoles should be $50.
I love that.
$50. Take two. Take my advice, all right? Come here. No. Stop. A remake, maybe. $50, you can get away with a remake. $50 for a port to the PS4?
It's not even a good wine. A wine joke, you know.
Yeah, that's
got
good.
it.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
But for a port with nothing, you couldn't throw in like, oh, it runs at 145 FPS. Cool, that's a slight improvement. You can't even give us that. No 4K textures. You didn't redo anything. You just are re-releasing it. That's so frustrating and disappointing. And I can tell that this was done out of sheer need to have a title out. Because during that, this is what happens with Rockstar. For those of you that don't know, these type of announcements, the last one being the GTA trilogy remaster that were put out last year, which abysmal versions of those games, truly god awful, and they had to pull them from several stores, and I'm not sure if they ever put them back up. But they announced these things about a day or two before the earnings calls, so that when investors look, they go, "Oh yeah, I see. There's a lot of conversation going on around this game." So that's what this was. Because during the investor call the day after this announcement on Wednesday, they talked about how the earnings are a little lower than they expected. They're about $3 billion this year, but they're expecting to have $8 billion by the end of 2020 fiscal year 2024.
Milking all of that off of a decade-old game.
Yeah,
It's all coming from online sales on GTA 5,
yeah.
right?
GTA 5 is
It's the
Still
highest
going
grossing
strong.
piece of media ever.
Yeah, it's insane. And it still normally makes the top 10 for the year in terms of sales. And I'm just curious, who's still buying copies? How do you not already have one?
I don't know if I do for the PS5.
I know I do. I have it digitally. But I'm just like, who's out here buying the copies, you know? Well, maybe it's just people resell and stuff, whatever. But so what we can glean from that, based on what we know about where they are in the development of GTA 6, if they're expecting to add an additional $5 billion in revenue by the end of next year, then we can expect a fall release date probably for GTA 6. Now that's speculation. Don't take my word for it, but I'll have called it if it's true. So come back, comment you were right. I don't want to point up here. Come back here and comment you were right on this video if GTA 6 gets a fall release date for next year. That's a very broad area, so I'm setting myself up for success. But I think we can
Anywhere from September to Christmas.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll have to see. But really disappointing news.
Stop releasing non-remakes for full price. I know $50 isn't full price for games anymore. It's now $75. But
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right. If you think people were mad about The Last of Us Part 1, which was a from the ground up remake, being $70, you gotta be joking trying to put a port out for $50. $20 max, you know? You can get away with $20 max. I'm willing to pay a maximum of $20, maybe $25 if you pressure me on a game that's really good. So disappointing, to say the least, on Rockstar's part. But speaking of things that were announced and aren't disappointing, we got a little bit of Pokemon news. I know you don't care about this at all. So this one's just for me, because
just for the guys, you know.
yeah. Hey, ladies, keep scrolling. This is for the boys.
One boy, singular.
Yeah, just the one
Andrew.
boy. This is for me. I'm the boy. Don't ever clip that or actually scratch that from the record. I'm not a boy. I'm a man.
Oh, family.
I have kids. So yeah, we got a Pokemon Presents this week, as we kind of knew we would. Data miners have become very good about determining what certain things in the mobile Pokemon games are leading up to. There's always a major promotion that comes out right before one of these Pokemon Presents. That's not important. What we got was we got a better look at Detective Pikachu 2.
That's actually pretty cool.
For the Nintendo Switch, which looks great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited for it. If you haven't played the Detective Pikachu games, go watch the movie. It's about that. Ryan Reynolds is not in the game, though. I'm sorry. It's a gruff speaking Danny DeVito style man who's like, "Hey, I'm Pikachu.
Yeah.
Give me that fracking coffee.
I'm peeking over here.
Hey, I'm peeking over here. Hey, achoo." That's what Pikachu sounds like in that game. But more importantly for me, they announced the release date for the next DLC, for the first DLC of the two-part DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That's important to me because I play a lot with my daughter, but also let's not pretend like I'm not a total dweeb and I play with Pokemon all the time. Not that you're a dweeb if you play Pokemon, but I am. We'll be traveling to this far-off land, meeting new Pokemon. We got some additional confirmations about new Pokemon that are returning, and even a new evolution, branching evolution form for Applin, who is now a caramel-dipped dragon apple. Yes, that's accurate. It's called Diplin.
So we're just branching into food. Look, if you watch the show, you know I haven't played this new one. We're just doing food now.
We've been doing food for about
Pokemon or food?
5 years.
We've all agreed on this?
So they're not. So there's a Pokemon in this generation.
Are we eating the Pokemon?
We don't know. They won't tell us.
Oh.
And look, I don't normally do 2 of these in an episode, but Nintendo, Pokemon, right here, all right? You got to tell me. Do they eat the food? Do they eat the Pokemon? There's a Pokemon made out of dough. You're telling me they don't. First off, how do we discover it's dough, right? We have to have known.
It looks like
and it
dough.
evolves by being baked. That's so what do some of them get to go off and be Pokemon and others get eaten?
What experiments is Professor Oak actually doing?
Right. When do we get to meet the Pokemon Gordon Ramsay? That's what I want to know. Who's just serving up like Blastoise soup, you know? Just full on,
And literally cut up the Togepi and flambe it like that.
I would play it. Look, there's a Pokemon Cafe game where you make Pokemon
Sushi?
no, but you make food for Pokemon.
Oh.
With the help of Pokemon, which don't even get me in on the health code violations that are there.
Yeah.
I want to see what the OSHA and
You're a muck making your food.
Your muck wearing a net. He was, but it dissolved.
It literally does not matter.
Yeah, he's made of goop. You realize that, right? That's a violation. But yeah, so we found out about that, which is, I guess, interesting. I'll be honest, the Pokemon designs have kind of, they're really, really hit and miss. They used to be kind of hit and miss. They're very hit and miss now, and this one is a hard miss.
Are they shooting even 50%?
Yeah, it's rough for some of these designs, and they grow on you sometimes. Sometimes you look at one, you go, "What in the hell is that?" And then you go play the game, you're like, that's actually my favorite character. So we got that, and that first DLC looks fine. Comes out September 13th. There's a special event that's going to be going on between now and then. You can get a Mew all your own with a random Terra type attached to it by doing a mystery gift with the code get your Mew, which will let you get a level 1 Mew with a random Terra type. That's great. That'll be helpful for the September 1st Terra raid for Mewtwo, which will let you take on a hyper powerful version of Mewtwo. If you use a Mew, you get a bonus to the power. So definitely go do that if you're going to want to grab that Mewtwo.
Now, do you have to have the season pass to?
No, so those are free separate things. And then then we got to look at the second DLC, which will feature basically what fans were wanting from the start. I think I talked about this during my mini review of the game last year during an episode of Uplink, but it's not like the post game is kind of scarce. There's not, like, you normally in Pokemon, if you want to keep battling and training, you can go re-challenge the Elite Four at the very least. And doing so normally results in a different team. Mm-hmm. And then there's like daily events and weekly events and that kind of stuff. There wasn't really much of that in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But with the release of the second DLC, not only are we getting most of the fan favorite Pokemon back again, as we knew we would, but we are going to get a new new evolution for Duraludon. I don't want to mispronounce it.
That is a drug.
Sure.
That sounds like a pill.
It definitely sounds like a pill, but it's actually a big steel dragon. But it turns into a bridge now, and the bridge is a cannon.
I hate everything. I hate this. I used to love Pokemon.
Back in my day, the dragons were dragons and the bridges were bridges. Now they're just mashing them together all willy-nilly.
Charizard was Charizard. We got it, you know?
Math is math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they making new math?
Why are they making new Pokemon? What was wrong with the original Pokemon?
There's 150 of them, or however many.
It was 151 to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean.
Why do I know that? Anyway.
So you'll be able to take on the special Elite Four there. You'll be taking on a whole new bunch of trainers. There's going to be a lot of story, a lot of hints towards what the next game will be. We're still guessing a Unova remake. I never played those games. I have no attachment to those. I do not care. But I will play these DLCs. Good stuff, you know? Also, what did they do to my boy? They made these paradox Pokemons in these games, and they are from the future or the past. You know the legendary Pokemon Raikou, who looks like a saber-toothed tiger, and he's got like lightning bolts and a cloud. Yeah. Now imagine if he was Giraffe. And that's what they did to him. They made him a giraffe. He's a big old long neck boy, and it's real stupid looking. And why So look, Suicune gets to come from the past and be a T-Rex dragon, but Raikou is a giraffe?
Hey, brother, I got to tell you, you're too old for this.
I am too old for this, and I'm still mad. I'm still mad about it.
Like, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
I don't, like, that sounds, stop. Pokemon, you're getting a little ahead of your skis, over your skis a little bit.
Right?
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
It is me, person who hasn't played the last two Pokemon.
That's fine. You don't need to. look, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But these games are not fixed yet. Still, they're still historically some of the least polished. It's a little hair just
floating through here.
Least polished Pokemon games ever put out. Pretty scarce content-wise, and it's been like almost a year, and we're just now getting the first of these DLCs. For our main topic today, we've got a bit of a head-scratcher for me personally. We're going to talk about our Game of the Year list, because my
Not
God.
a long list for me.
Yeah. Look, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Royden plays the games that he likes, and then some of the games that I ask him to play for this show.
Well, or games that like I know are going to be bangers that like I can afford.
Yeah,
you know?
That's generally how most of us play games. But if you're like me and you're psychotic and you try to play every release as much as you can.
I would like to play Diablo. It's $75 now.
It's good though. It's
I
very
know. And that's my problem here is that I know that it's a banger game.
Yeah.
And I still don't have any money.
Hey, look, if you're broke, your list probably won't be very long either. But so we're gonna do two versions of this list, and I'll put them up on the side.
Or if you're married and you have to explain to your wife, no, babe, I swear to God.
Just don't tell them.
Well, that's also true.
Simply do not inform your wife of your purchases.
Why can't we pay the electricity bill? It's 1,000 degrees in Texas right now.
Diablo. Oh man, the electricity's out.
I had to play the Fractured Night.
Yeah, very, very important. Yeah, so we got a current list, and then we've got kind of our expected list with what's still left to come out. So for my current list, this has kind of been the hardest year I've had to do in a long time. Like last year, I could pick out the bangers. You know, there were a few solid games, 3 major experiences that really made up the bulk of what was good last year. God of War, Horizon, and Elden Ring.
Right.
The amount of Game of the Year contenders that have come out to this point, August, I want to say 10th, on at time of filming, is insane. Mm-hmm. So here's my list as of now. Diablo 4, Tears of the Kingdom, Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Humanity, Street Fighter 6, Viewfinder, Dredge, and Dead Space Remake. That's a lot of good games. Most of them are getting kicked off because there's some bangers coming up.
And some we don't even have the consoles for.
Yeah. We'll figure that part out later.
Yeah.
All right. Now you do yours.
I mean, look, I keep saying call it what it is. It's Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
1, and then Jedi Survivor, which I enjoyed a lot and still need to dive way deeper in that game than what I actually got into it.
Yeah.
Same with Tears of the Kingdom. But Tears of the Kingdom is so, I mean, you love Diablo, and I swear I will play it. But like, it is so far and above and beyond what I could have even imagined it was going to be.
Yeah, it's black magic straight up.
Yeah. And look, there's building mechanics in several games, and there is going to be more building mechanics that come after this game.
As a result of this game.
But just the ability to morph things and I don't know, like...
It's revolutionary.
Yeah, and it's fun, and you get lost in it, and it's huge, and it's just a massive game.
3 maps.
Yeah.
Somehow. Everyone was like, how are they going to be able to expand on Hyrule? They already showed us all of Hyrule.
Go up.
What if we just put some of it in the sky and then just did a reverse version of it under the ground?
Yep.
Just
sick.
A big old screw you, check this shit out.
I mean, look, it's truly unbelievable. I was blown away by, what they were able to do on the Switch, which is a fun console, but obviously not the highest operating console for, what was the first one?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, thank you. When I first booted that up like 5 years after it came out, I was like, this is incredible. Why haven't I played this yet? This, it kind of blows it out of the water, which is like unreal.
Yeah.
And again, in Jedi Survivor, we said it on here, the best Star Wars game to come out
Yeah.
in years.
Story could have been a little tighter, but other than that, I had no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like other games that have come out that, you know, I've been playing older games that I have missed, and that's kind of been my year. Because like I said, things are expensive right now. And so games that are free that we've gotten, like, this doesn't have anything to do with the list, but I'm just saying games that I've played in this calendar year. My wife and I finally got into It Takes Two. It's been the funnest gaming experience that I've had in a long time. And that game's not that old, but like...
It's a couple years.
But like, that's been one of the funnier gaming experiences I've had this year. And actually, one of the funnest gaming experiences that I've had this year personally, I did a review on it. The F1 game was a blast to play. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, shout out EA. You know, you did it. But like, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I need to play more games. Andrew's dominated me in this listicle, but
I've made it my life's goal to play too many games and hurt myself. Look, and I'll be honest with you, we both have full-time jobs that we do here aside from this. And I have a family. I have 2 kids. And this takes up a significant portion of my time. And so I have not touched every game. I'm sad to say I have yet to, I do not have a gaming PC at the moment. So I have yet to touch Baldur's Gate 3. But I'm going to put it on my list for the expected games that I think will be Game of the Year contenders for me, because it's coming to PS5 and I will play it, and it's likely to get hooked into me pretty bad.
My expected Game of the Year is Starfield.
I'm willing to bet I've got it on my list. So I'll go ahead and give you guys so those were my top 10. I didn't put them in any particular order for what I think were best for the year so far, because I feel like I don't know what order I'm going to put them in when I go to make my year in review video at the end of the year. I have no idea what I'm going to pick for Game of the Year at this moment. Tears of the Kingdom is probably a safe bet.
Just like everyone else. Like, we're not original here.
But as great as it is, I'll be honest with you, I'm a sucker for Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man 2 comes out, it doesn't matter if it doesn't reinvent the wheel. If it makes me feel the things that the first game made me feel, gives me that sense of flow, of freedom, and the story is anywhere near as good, that's going to be my Game of the Year. Starfield might be bigger, it might be more expansive, might be more customizable. It's not going to matter. Spider-Man's, I'm biased as hell. Spider-Man's where my heart will be.
Yeah. Is Star Wars coming out next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Outlaws is next year.
Yeah.
We'll worry about that nonsense when we get to it.
Look, I've had the best, besides God of War last year. Spider-Man's the most fun I've ever had on a PlayStation. I button mashed until my fingers bled for that first game. So yeah, I mean, well, I lie, like, Last of Us is the most blown away I've ever been on, but neither here nor there. Spider-Man, in my heart of hearts, I'll probably be like, this was the most fun I actually had playing the game this year.
And that's what, if we're looking at technical,
Xbox, so you got to find a way to play that Starfield game.
We'll figure out Starfield. Well, when it comes down to Game of the Year criteria, I've always said that I could go by what I played by the most of. I could go by what was most technically incredible. But I'm probably going to go by what I spent the most time with that put a sense of joy or dread, like had a significant, dread sometimes for certain games, but, put a significant impact into me from playing the game that I'm going to, like, the very first time swinging in Spider-Man hits me. There's emotional beats all throughout that. I saw most of the twists coming except for a couple, and it still hit me. Same thing with the Miles Morales game. God of War worked because of how well done the emotions and the twists were throughout its story. So if Starfield is a game with an okay story like Skyrim was, that does little to leave an impact on me other than give me some fun vocal lines to repeat ad nauseum, it's not going to be my Game of the Year. It may be the more expansive, it may be the most customizable RPG, but I'm not always looking for the most customizable RPG. Baldur's Gate 3 will probably be 1,000 times more polished than Starfield will be. Actually, I can almost guarantee you it will be. But Starfield will probably get more eyes on it. So my expected list, and this is for me, but also kind of what I expect to see in no particular order at the moment for Game of the Year contenders, the top 10. Again, no idea if any of this is going to end up being accurate, but there's just too many to pick. I was going to do top 5 for us, but shit, dude, I couldn't pick 5. So here's the top 10. Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo 4, Starfield, Armored Core 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Jedi Survivor, Super Mario Wonder, Alan Wake 2, and either Viewfinder, Humanity, Hi-Fi Rush, or Sea of Stars, because they're all going to sit probably equal to me at the end of the year. There's special experiences in there, but they're short-lived, and they're not insanely in depth. You know,
Viewfinder. Let us play you, please.
Yeah, Armored Core 6 in particular is one I expect to be a kind of a sleeper hit. I think that for me personally, I love the Armored Core series already, but I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be surprised by how much they get into that game. In the same way, I think that a lot of people, and this is mostly coming from the PC community right now, but are getting into Baldur's Gate 3, and they're surprised by how deeply into it they are. We'll see if that translates to the console in September whenever the PS5 version comes out. But, you know, I think that there's a few games on here. Like, I'm a sucker for fighting games. We've talked about my love of Mortal Kombat and Tekken. It's been a good year for fighting games. If we get Tekken 8 surprise launching in November, I'm going to lose it. That'll be all 3 of the major fighting games in 1 year. And that's kind of painful, guys.
You didn't even put Mortal Kombat on your list.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, did it?
Number 6.
Oh,
and I
didn't pay attention.
It's okay. Super Mario Wonder will be incredible. All the Super Mario games are great. Everyone will love it. Donkey will make a video about it. You guys will watch it, and that'll have way more views than this video does. But that's okay. I also will be watching that video. So, I mean, what are your expectations for the end of the year? I'm not putting Call of Duty on there for sure. That's not going to be one.
Spider-Man dominates sales. Starfield comes out and is either broken or awesome,
or both. It might be both. Bethesda does both most of the time.
That's Diablo breaks sales records eventually, but like,
it did break sales records already.
Yeah. I don't really for the rest of the year. There were some indie games that I was hoping to play. Like I really expect Viewfinder when we ever get to play it. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I bought it.
Oh, you bought it already? Okay.
Yeah. I bought it yesterday.
Okay.
And I've been playing it. It's very good.
Okay, good.
I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are smaller that I think were solid experiences that are going to get washed away by just. I don't think that since 2013, I've seen maybe 2012 actually, 2011. I don't know. There were a few years back in that time period that were just like holy shit. And that's kind of how I felt about this year. It's just there's not been very many months where we got to chill out. There's too many good games. We're going to be working on a review for Atlas Fallen this month, possibly Fort Solis, looking at Immortals of Avium. I don't expect any of those games to make Game of the Year. I think that they could be impactful experiences and fun, but I don't think they're going to wash out any of these other titles. But just the sheer number of legacy, long-time running franchises that got an entry this year.
Oh, and we have another Assassin's Creed coming out this year.
Do not care about that anymore.
Exactly.
There's too many things for me to. If you guys want me to care about anything else, you have to move it to next year. I cannot talk about anything. This list, this is the maximum amount of games I can keep in my brain at a time now. If they put out something that is a surprise hit, I have to rethink my entire life for the rest of the year. And I don't want to have to do that. So if you've got a good game, I know games are expensive. They take a long time. Put it out next year. I don't want it right now. Put it out next year.
No. Us not begging for content. Yeah. Don't do it.
Look, there's too much content. I have too many things to play that I cannot play all of them at once. Some of these games release on the same day. Yeah. And it's rough, okay? And then you throw in the annual sports franchise stuff and everything, and reboots of old franchises and remakes and remasters, and it's too much.
You're asking, like, apparently Madden, they rebuilt a lot of stuff with like the Dynasty with the Dynasty mode. We'll see. We have a new version of FIFA, which is the same version of FIFA, but just called Football Club, which we talked about a lot. Those are going to dominate sales.
Yeah. Per
usual. So
globally, they will for sure.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty will, of course, be number 1 or 2 by the end of the year, as it always is. But yeah, I mean, there's just been too many good things this year, which is why I want to know. Leave in the comments below. Give me your top 5. If you're able to come up with a top 5 games, please let me know what your top 5 games of 2023 were so far.
And most anticipated for the rest of the year.
Let us know and we'll talk about it some more next week if we get enough comments.
Real quick, the Forza Horizon movie, middling reviews.
Gran Turismo.
Yes.
But
see?
They're the same thing and would be the same thing if they were made a movie.
Yeah, Gran Turismo movie, which is said to be based on a true story, which I don't actually believe.
It is based on a true story.
I don't believe it.
That's okay.
Is like sitting at a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Whatever you would take that for whatever.
Yeah, whatever merit you put into that, that's where it's at. Meanwhile, Twisted Metal is a surprise hit.
Yeah.
For all 9 of you that have Peacock, that'll be fun. Well, 8 of you, I'm sure 1 of you probably canceled after they increased the price. And also, Disney, stop. Don't do that. It's not my fault you're not profitable. But you know what never works? Increasing the prices. Do you know why? Boy, am I gonna have joined the pirate's life. That's not an endorsement of pirating. I'm just saying.
Or Pirates of the Caribbean, which you own.
Which I will also not endorse.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're going to force piracy to come back. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, let us know about your 5 best games of the year so far, most anticipated. As always, you can catch us here on YouTube, but you can also find us over on kwtx.com/entertainment/hardwired. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. Turn on notifications so you never miss one of these videos. We've got a lot of stuff coming up the pipeline, so I look forward to bringing it to you guys. And until next time, I'm Andrew Hamilton.
I'm Roy Noogletree.
And we'll catch you next time.